Okay, how you doing, guys, and welcome to the Straight From the Table Central edition. We just wrapped up our show here in Hornchurch at the Queen's Theatre, and we have a new overall champ in our heavyweight, Luke Dunn. He looked absolutely ecstatic to win the show, kind of rebounding from his novice performance, I think it was 2 years ago, so a great entry into the Misters. New venue for us this time. You never know what to expect, but I think we'll all agree fantastic venue, great crowd, really loud, typical Central standard, absolutely great. Vic, I'll go to you. You were the head judge. The overall was, of course, won by the heavyweight. Was it a case of just the heavyweight was too big?
I don't think it was that it was too big. I think that it was very much a split decision, and I think different judges just like different things. It could quite easily have gone to the lightweight. That's how close it was. I think that Macy turned up probably the best I've ever seen him. Great condition, great balance. Luke just had a hell of a lot of size. So whichever way you went with it, I don't think it was a right or a wrong answer. It was just a case of the way the 7 judges and 4 went one way, 3 went another way. That's how tight it was. So a very, very split decision. But well done to Luke. And Macy took the best wheels. So, he got a sort of not a second place, yeah, but, a bit of a bonus there, but well deserved as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the best wheels is always a nice kind of trophy to have. I said to him backstage, I joked, I says, hey, if you can't get the overall, you want the best wheels, and he got it. Do you guys see the overall kind of going the same way?
No, I was one of the ones in the camp thought Macy had just pinched it, but that's why we have, the 7 judges here because opinions vary a little bit. I thought he was definitely the best I've ever seen him. Really impressed with his condition, and he got into his posing quick, which was good. Wasn't overawed by standing next to the heavyweight, and I was really impressed with him. But look, big guy, a lot of muscle. So whatever way it went, it was going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, I think between light and heavy, I think it's about 30 kilo difference, and that's just what I love about the overall, because it's never just clear cut, and you can always think, oh well, the lightweights must go into that overall thinking, wow, I've got no chance against these heavyweights, but it's that close. Yeah. So I guess that's good for anyone else going forward who obviously wins a class to challenge the heavyweights and take on the bigger guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Yeah, useful feedback, guys. And like I say, it was also nice as a little addition to see most of the audience still here for the overall. Yeah. It really adds to the atmosphere, and rightly so, because the overall champ should be crowned to a kind of rapturous applause, and he was. It was good to see. Okay, so we started the show with our over 50s. And in traditional BNBF fashion, the over 50s were strong. We had a champ in Keith Hale, who took the win from John Bellis and Tim Sharp in 3. Right, just quickly then, what separated these guys, and basically what brought kind of Keith out as the champ?
Again, another very close decision. John always looked slightly more aesthetic when he walked on, and you initially were probably drawn to John from the front. But I think Keith, condition-wise and from the rear, was the stronger athlete, and I must say that that's the best I've seen Keith. His tan was better than I've ever seen it. He always gets sort of condition, but it's been a bit empty, whereas this time he seemed to get the condition but have a bit more fullness. So a really, really good performance from Keith. He's been knocking at the door, and he's been a stalwart. He's here all the time and keeps getting a little bit better and a little bit better. So it was actually really nice to see him coming in and actually really presenting the best I've ever seen him anyway.
Yeah, and he's always a guy with a smile on his face and a great attitude. Your comments on the class?
Much the same, very close, top 2. I think just sort of mid, lower back, glutes, hamstrings was what swung it for me. From the front, there was not a lot to choose between the 2. But yeah, I enjoyed judging that class. Like, you had to really have a look at the 2 of them.
Yeah, and I think that, I know they were 4 and 5 in the Britain last year. So the other way around. So John had obviously pipped. So I think Keith will be happy to get the one over, I think. But I don't think John was any worse either. I just think Keith just got better. Yeah. His glutes had never been through like that, and just that hardness and fullness that he had from the back, which he said he just doesn't usually have. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that result today, and you never know, it could flip-flop again at the Britain. So all to play for, I guess. Yeah,
and the 3 of them, Tim's already qualified, isn't he? Yeah, so they'll all meet again at the Britain. Yeah. So.
My concern makes it easier. My concern with Tim is that he keeps dieting and gets over dieted, because he was starting to look a little bit empty this time. That I think he needs to watch what he's doing with his diet and maybe eat up a little bit into the Britain, because he's got condition, he's got it there, and his posing's really good. He actually presents and poses really well. So just a little bit more fullness would make a big difference to him.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cheers for the roundup, guy. You know, just that was Keith Halen, the winner from John Bellis in 2, Tim Sharp in 3, and the competitive kind of cycle of over 50s continues. Okay, moved on to our over 60s. We originally had 4. One competitor did not turn up, so we had 3. But we actually had 2 of them as over 70s. But our over 60s champ was Roy Vaughan, and a very impressive over 60s champ indeed. Let's have a little word on Roy, and we'll talk about Michael Harringtons and Jeff Lunn, who were at over 70s. Word on Roy.
Yeah, definitely I think the best I've ever seen Roy. Really nice, well-balanced physique when you think he's over 60.
Yeah.
Nice, clean muscle. Really enjoyed himself on stage and posed well, and just I was really impressed with him.
I always find, with the older competitors, it's hard for them to maintain legs. They're always the first thing to go on a physique as you get a bit older, but his were exceptional. They're really, really well separated and, as you said, just crisp. So, he absolutely knocked my socks off when he came out, to be honest. I thought, wow, that's, if I think any of us can look like that at 60 will be. I know you're nearly there.
I'm nearly there.
But yeah, awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah, and Vic, so we'll kind of go towards our over. Roy was exceptional in over 60s champ in his own right. Michael Harringtons and Jeff were over 70s contingent. It was Jeff who pipped Michael. What was the difference between these guys?
I think Jeff just had a little bit more condition. When I say condition, just a little bit more detail. For over 70s, they're both phenomenal. They both come on and do brilliant routines. They pose well. I mean, Michael had a great routine. It was good fun and really entertaining. And I know the audience have probably really enjoyed it. So I think that in itself is always worth having them for. I mean, I always think by the time we get to the finals that the over 70s is one of the highlights of the show because they do put so much into their actual performance. But both these guys keep improving. It's like you actually keep seeing little improvements time after time after time.
Enjoy the time on stage, and the routines and everything are great as well. Yeah. They put a bit of work in. So.
Yeah, it's a joy to have them, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a kind of great class, and as usual, the audience were always the loudest for these boys, and rightly so. Okay, moving on to the female classes. Our first female class was our Masters figure. Only 2 in it, but a good standard. We had a winner in Monica Imbert, who took the win from Denise Campbell. Vic, let's talk us through that then. It's 2 competitors I don't think I've seen before.
No, I haven't seen either of them before. What's quite funny is when they walked on, Denise actually was the one that stood out initially. She's got phenomenal upper body, great midsection, great shoulders, and actually if you had judged instantaneously, you probably would have given her the win. However, when you started analysing it, her legs were very, very soft and carrying a lot of water. I spoke to her after the show and she said she'd been ill, which could be what attributes to that. Where Monica's legs were actually particularly strong, which then showed up Denise's as being particularly bad. And I think Monica just nailed it on that wee bit tightness top to toe. But again, in the Britain, it could be a completely different story. If Denise can get the legs through, she's got a really, really good structure and a lot of muscle in her upper body and a nice shape. So it'd be interesting to see that one.
Yeah, really strong shoulders and kind of quite muscular. And I thought, just my input, I wasn't judging, I did host, but I thought Monica's presentation was slightly better.
Yes, I would agree.
I thought Denise looked a little bit raw, but if perhaps she's not competed before.
She's actually only been training for a year, but she was an athlete. So
you can
when
see
I
that.
chat at the end, she's an ex-athlete.
You can see that she's got a kind of a base. How do you see it going, Rob?
I agree with what Vic said, to be honest. As I said, I think that Denise is a yellow bikini, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Just a little bit more heavily muscled, I think, from the back, but as I said, just didn't pose it as well. Yeah. And that's things she can fix. But yeah, as you said, more condition through the legs, but otherwise, actually a really high standard for both of them.
I would agree.
Which is awesome. So I'll be looking forward to seeing them at the Britain as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good roundup, and I think both will be strong going forward to the Britain. Okay, next up we had a teen. We had only one teen, unfortunately, but as Vicky said, at prejudging what we lacked in quantity, we made up for in quality. We had a winner in James Alabaster, and a lot of potential for a teenager. Kind of like when he posed, he was a bit raw, but when you actually hit a few poses, you thought, wow, he's actually pretty good. Tiny wee waist, big wide back, chunky quads. Condition not bad, for a teen, perhaps his first outing. I mean, Davey, do you want to just talk about it, James?
Yeah, I mean, brilliant potential. A wee bit old school in some of his poses, I thought, but some really good big chunky body parts, nice lines. there's a couple of really basic things he can do for the Britain. Just get a set of posing trunks, because it looked like maybe swimming trunks he had, so didn't maybe quite show off his thighs as well as he could have done, and a bit darker tan. But for somebody of his age coming in there, I mean, he looks like he's got phenomenal potential. A big guy like him, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of him.
I was trying to find flaws with him, and I couldn't find much, to be honest. Other than a darker tan, you see the younger guys coming through, and you think, like, that's looking. Oh, shoulders are good, pecs are good. His back was really good. So I was kind of scratching my head to think, what could I give him as feedback? And I think I said it's just a bit more condition, especially holding his legs. But otherwise, that's going to be a hard team to beat, I think, in full shape. So 100%,
Yeah, cool. Anything to add on James?
What else can you say? I would agree. Potential, absolutely, bundles of potential.
Absolutely, and he should go forward to the Britain pretty confident. Miss Athletic was our next class. We only had one in that. That was won by Suki Harris. Now, Suki's competed, I think, has Suki done figure and physique with us in the past?
I don't know about figure.
I know she's done physique, and she's opted to go athletic on this occasion. Was it the right call for her? How do you feel she looked?
I think that it probably was the right call for her. I think she always was good in physique, but didn't quite have the natural X shape and the heaviness that she would need to really progress in physique. So athletic probably is where she needs to go. However, I did feel that she'd actually lost a little bit of fullness that she normally has in her arms and shoulders, and I wonder if she tried to push the condition too hard, maybe with eating too little carbs or something, because I expected, having seen her in the past, I expected her to be a little bit more muscular today. She had got condition with the shoulders and arms that we sort of asked for, but I hope it wasn't to the detriment of what she used to have in that full muscles in her arms. Her arms and shoulders were always particularly strong, so I'd like to see that a little bit fuller for the finals. But other than that, no knocking her. She presents well, she poses well, her routine was nice, a lovely athletic competitor.
Yeah, thanks very much. Anything to add?
Pretty much.
Pretty much rounded up. I think we'll agree. She has the makings of kind of what athletics looks for. But as you say, Vic, perhaps watching an over diet, there's no need to be once you're in shape. There's no need to kind of push any harder. Okay, we moved on to our novice class, and typical Central fashion, quite a big novice class. Body parts everywhere, shapes and sizes, good posing, bad posing, a lot of sweat on stage and a long pose down. Vic, you had to tabulate the scores. How did it come out, and how did we get there?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as some novice classes for adding up, to be honest. There was quite a lot of consistency across the board. I think the top three were the top three. Maybe a few people had, second and third the other way around, but they stood out as a top three. Stoyan, I think he was from Stoyan Petkov, really good. Nice balance, good amount of muscle, good condition. Posing could have been a little bit better, probably flattered himself a little bit more with a little bit of posing work, but excellent. Second, Larry, number 17.
Yeah, we can call him Larry O.
Larry O. Larry O.
So we don't make a mess of his name.
But he, a little bit harder, he'd be even more competitive. I think if
he's posing as well, if he can improve his posing, because especially in some of the compulsory rounds, he was covering himself a little bit side chest. He tended to crunch over and take away from his shape. But certainly lots of chunky muscle, and just needs to bring his conditioning a bit more.
Agreed. And sorry, number 13, what was his name as well?
Samuel.
Yeah.
Samuel. I did actually give him some feedback at the end, so I apologise for forgetting your name already. But yeah, just little things for him to fix going forward, like the front relaxed pose. We always talk about the motorbike pose, so to speak. Made him look really straight up and down. He actually got left out of that first call out until kind of late on. And that can really cost you. So, for competitors, you're standing in the front relaxed position a lot. So that's the one pose to probably practice more than anything else. But when he actually came on, he did really good. I think he was very close between him and number, was it 15 or 16? Sorry, it was fourth place. And he had, he had the better upper body, but I think he was just a bit crisper in the legs. So that's what sort of tipped him. And I'd really like to see the other guy in fourth place do another qualifier, because if he just brings a little bit more to the legs.
I think he's doing it next week.
Is he? Great, because his upper body was great. Really good thick abs, and and so presented pretty well. And colour was really good as well, and looked better tonight. And he shouldn't feel hard done by that fourth place, because I think that very competitive novice class. So I think definitely you can easily go next week and win a show. So great.
I do kind of think that the novice is great when you actually see a novice that really is novice. These guys all can improve by just a little bit of work on some posing, and just what they've done today is probably put the first step on the ladder and they now have to learn it a little bit more. But I always quite like that when you see novices that are a little bit raw and have got a little bit of work to do. It kind of sets them up for the future. So a great class though, really good class. I like number 20, Ramathan.
Yeah, Ramathan.
I mean, really balanced, really shapely, a lot of muscle. Realistically, diet down and do a later qualifier, you could probably make the final. He just he didn't really have any faults, just he needed a lot more time dieting. Bradley Addison, the number 12, I think, nice shape, nice structure, tiny waist, just a little bit time coming in. I think those are the ones that kind of stood out to me. That they're there, they've got potential. Just keep pushing, guys.
Mm-hmm. No, I think they'll appreciate the comments should they listen to this, and perhaps they will take up that suggestion to do the later qualifier, because you just never know. Okay, we moved on to our juniors. We had 4 in the class. We had a winner in Simeon Kostadinov, who took the win from Jake Hambleton, Caleb Turner in 3, and Henry Marley in 4. Rob, I've been cashing memory back. I think we had quite a clear winner in Simeon.
Yeah, definitely clear winner. I think where the hard part was probably from 3 and 4 was super close. We had one with the better structure, one with a bit more muscle up top, which was Caleb, I believe. But yeah, as far as the actual winner himself, fantastic junior, I thought. Really good shape to the quads, super hard through the shoulders. Just needs a little bit more back going forward. If that makes sense. And that will really put him, like his side shots, like side chest, I thought was excellent. So he'll do well in the finals, I think. He just continue to get tighter from the back, but was really good. So yeah.
Yep. Davey, any kind of word on that, or has Rob summed that up?
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, I mean the winner was a clear-cut winner, and then you were just looking for, your second, third after that, and it could have went either way. Good body parts.
Yeah.
Just swapped round. So.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just looking at the scores again, realistically, that Jake, Henry and Caleb all had second, thirds and fourth places. So it really was, that's how tight it was. It was like a matter of points between them. Henry was a strange one because it's the first time I've actually had to say he was better from the back than he was from the front. Yeah, it's like, more often than not I'm saying, it was good from the front when he turned to the back. He actually wasn't as strong from the front. When he turned to the back, he was very competitive. Caleb, number 4, if he could pose, he has a ton of muscle, a little bit of tightness, and learn to pose. He's really
better balance. Second, third, and fourth had the better balance out of those 3, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas one had a stronger upper half, one had a stronger lower half. He was sort of in between.
Yeah, just didn't really know how to present it properly. So a little bit of work, but a lot of potential. Again, lovely. Consider only 4 good, strong juniors.
Yeah, cool. Great feedback for the guys. Okay, so we moved on back to ladies, and that was our Miss Physique, was it? Yep, we had 2 in the class. This was won by Eve Cook. No stranger to the stage is Eve. And she took the win from Louise Harrison. I don't think I've seen Louise compete with us before. So Vic, as always, it's your class. We'll go to you. Talk us through it. What separated them?
Eve just had a little bit more of everything. She was a little bit neater in the waist. She had a little more detail in her legs. She probably didn't have quite as big arms as Louise, but everything else was there. And the thing with Eve is that she's had some knocks in the past, she's had some tough results, but she comes back every time better. And you think, no disrespect to Eve, she's getting older, she's still coming in every time in condition, presenting really well, posing really well. So she does really well. Louise was a nervous wreck, realistically. I mean, lovely, pretty girl, good, strong arms, lacked a little bit of posing, expertise. And what she did have, she wasn't really able to show us well enough, especially from the back. She stood very, very straight. She didn't open her back when she stood from the back. So a bit of work, but she's done the hard thing. She's done the first show. Now go away and look at the pictures, look at videos, look at whatever you can, and improve on the bits that need improved on. But again, good to see Eve making her way to the final for another year.
Yeah, and she did. I just saw her backstage just before they went on for photos, and she held her trophy up and said, you don't know what this means. And, maybe we do to a degree, but obviously, it shows that it does actually, it means a lot. Okay, we moved on to our first of our open classes. This was our lightweights. We actually just split a light and heavy, just the way the numbers fell. It was fairer. And we're a very competitive lightweight class, and we had a winner in Macy Scrivener, from Loy Brown in 2 and Aaron Bevan in 3. With Andy Barker rounding up the 4. Davey, Let's talk about it, because after prejudging,
yeah.
we all had something to say.
I think I had 3 of the guys level after prejudging at first, because they all had different bits and pieces. I'm a big fan of Aaron's physique. Symmetry is absolutely brilliant. Really good sweep in his quads. His nice high pecs. Flair to his lats. A bit better than he was last time out, but still a bit soft. Sorry, who was second? Lloyd was just a little bit chunkier in the waist, but still a very nice physique. A bit bigger than Aaron, slightly leaner as well. But Macy was just, his condition was just too much. He's got a nice balanced physique as well. He's maybe doesn't have quite the lines of the other 2 guys, but he's got decent shape, and his condition was nailed on. And I almost felt sorry for the guy in
Andy.
4th, Andy, because he's just come into a really, really good lightweight class, and he was good himself. I hope he's not too disappointed with, be disappointed with 4th, but not disheartened, because that was a real tough class, and he showed really well too. But
yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't a bad outing for him by any means. I think he, his colour was still pretty good, and he was actually in good condition. It's just the other 2, I think, as I said, especially when you get to the lightweight classes, you're tending to get more now shorter guys with more muscle, as opposed to like taller guys who are just a little bit off. So that's going to be a super competitive, come the Britain. Obviously, I was massively drawn between Aaron and Lloyd. I think Lloyd just had a little bit more muscle, but Aaron's structure carries him so far. But he knows what he needs to do. I think that he easily can turn that around again. I'm sure Lloyd can get much better as well. So it's going to be a condition game, especially in the lightweights. So and obviously just well done to Macy, because I think the amount of maturity I was trying to tell him backstage, he's put on in that 2 years. It's that's a massive stride. A lot of guys come back and they're slightly better. He was massively improved. So that's awesome. So well done.
Yeah, and like you say, in addition to the class win, he got the best wheels, and I was kind of like you said, Tom. You might have missed the overall, but you got the best wheels. I could tell it meant a lot to him, and he's obviously worked hard over the past couple of years, because he was in great condition. Anything to say other than?
I'd just agree with the guys. I mean, it was a tough class to call. I mean, Lloyd needs to open up in his poses. He's short and he's crunching down a lot. If you look at Aaron and Aaron's structure, by lifting up, and I think if Lloyd could learn to lift up, he doesn't have to crunch. The muscles there, lift up and create more shape. I think that would help him come final time as well. Yeah,
and if I had the best arms award, I'd probably give it to Lloyd.
Huge arms.
But relative to his frame, his arms were humongous. Okay, our heavyweights then, we had the overall winner come from this class. That was of course Luke Dunn, who took the win from Adam Gull in 2 and Paul Elliott in 3. A clear winner for me and Luke, and he was just a powerhouse in the class.
Yeah, I mean, Luke stood out. He had, the best condition in the class, the most size. I think he really just stood out as the winner on this occasion. I think realistically, he's still got a bit of work to do on some of his posing, and he still needs to be harder to come to finals. But if he can bring that, then he's going to be in with a shout. He's going to be in the mix. Adam Gull had a lovely structure, and his upper body was really nice, a nice V taper, tiny wee waist, good chest, really good midsection, a little bit light on the legs compared to his upper body. And Paul in 3rd, I actually felt that if Paul could actually come in a little bit harder but a little bit fuller, that he would actually make a really, really strong competitor. I would have liked to see him. He was quite raw, and I think he could maybe take that experience and look at where he needs to improve, and he could easily come to another qualifier and actually qualify for the Britain. But he has got a little bit of weight to lose, but he has to do it without losing any more fullness, which sounds strange, but he wasn't popping on stage. There was nothing happening when he was posing, which to me indicates that he was a little bit flat. So if he could nail that, he wasn't bad. He had good strong legs, a lot of muscle, just as I say, didn't quite have it right today.
Yeah, raw. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that, Vic. So we then moved on to the final class before we had our overall, and that was our Miss Figure. We had 6 ladies. This class was won by Cassandra Bacon from Katrina House in 2 and Bethany Wilkinson in 3. Rob, we'll jump to you on this one. As I said, I didn't judge, but for me, after prejudging, I think Cassandra, for me, I commented, it was kind of like the closest to the natural figure criteria.
Yeah, definitely. I think although she's got a little bit of work to do condition-wise, super small waist for where she was condition-wise, if that makes sense. So that naturally carried her off. In fact, you can almost afford to be a little bit how should we say, a little bit off, and shape carried her through really. The girl, who's in second, it was 17, wasn't it? Katrina. I really liked her shape actually. She was really good in the size. She's a little bit slight still, but she needs a little bit more muscle. But I mean, her presentation was good, the tan was good, and I think that's what pipped her over the third place, which was Beth. Yeah, that's it. So, and she actually took a little bit of a while to get going in pre-judging as well. Katrina. She sort of came alive as she went on. So yeah, I think it was pretty clear cut when it came down to it at the end. But I think that originally this sort of took a while to get going, and I think Cassandra was just a clear standout. And then from there, I think it was hard to make up between the others really. So yeah. Also, without rambling on, I think Zoe was at Zoe was good as well. Really nice front double, and when she hits that pose you think, oh, she's definitely be up there, and then she just condition wise think she's still got a bit of work to do, but lots of muscle, which was good, especially from the back as well. I could see the thicker erectors, so she just needs to get tighter, and I think she'll be a lot better in that class. So
yeah, and we also had Zane Page, who kind of wrapped up the top 5. Just a little bit raw, just needs a bit more of everything. Zane.
Yeah, Zane to me was, when somebody just needs to be a bit more comfortable. She's very neat, and I said that, I actually commented while she was on stage, she's got really quite nice legs, she was neat in the glutes, but she just lacks the confidence to show herself off properly. She almost needs to believe in herself more. I think it's a lack of confidence, but it was a good lineup top to bottom, and I would agree with everything Rob said. Katrina Howe's, my criticism of Katrina was that she almost overposed. She was almost leaning too far forward, and I think sometimes that was detracting from her natural shape. And that probably gave Cassandra, the edge in winning it. She maybe have pushed her harder if she'd not overposed.
Yeah, and I thought, Tessa's presentation, I actually thought Cassandra, the winner, looked very comfortable and enjoyed it. And judges feel that. You feel she might have been nervous inside, but we never know. But it's about what you project, and she seemed to be happy and enjoying it, and hey, she won. So must have been a good effort. Davey, anything on that?
No, I pretty much agree with that. I think her stage presence was great, and she was confident. A bit heavy, below the waist, but that's something for her to work on for the British finals. But apart from that, it was.
Yeah, a lot of promise. Okay, and that wrapped it up then. We did obviously go on to our overall, as we discussed, which was taken by Luke. Luke, our heavyweight. So, another great show in the bag, and the show runs on. That is the Central done. The next week we run on to Leatherhead for the BNBF Southern Championships. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, as always, the sponsors. Big thanks to Viper Fitness, our main sponsor, and also the sponsor of a lot of kind of individual classes too. And it's nice to see guys still supporting the sport. And as you say, without the sponsors, we need them to go on. So thanks for giving back, guys.
And for the awesome audience. That
they were kind of, they had this place rocking, and it does make a difference. It does. And thanks for staying to the end.
Prize definitely goes so far to Central audience.
Yeah. So there's a shout. There's a shout out to everyone else. The Central is currently in the top lead for the audience. So let's see if you can best them. Okay. We'll hope to see some of you at the Southern next week. If not, BNBF British Finals in Perth, September 29th. We'll hopefully see you all at the big one. And that is us. We're going to de-rig and get out of here. So from myself, David Kay, head judge Vicky McCann, Davey Hanna, Rob Waterhouse on the panel. That is us. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you take something from it. And we'll do another episode soon on the road tour. See you later, guys. Cheers.
Good night.